In a world that wants us all to move very fast, there's something very gratifying to me about just slowing the hell down. And at first, I was afraid to slow down. The idea of not to be able to move fast or churn out this work, it felt like if you stop, then you're just going to fail. And the social media platforms, all these sites, they just want you to keep giving and posting every day, multiple times a day. Keep feeding that monster. It's a monster that you feed that's just never satisfied. And by the way, they want you to feed multiple monsters. And you got to be fast, right? So this idea of slowing down kind of flies right in the face of everything that we're being told about living in this modern society or internet culture. And let alone what it takes to be a procreator, So to me, slowing down is kind of like a big FU to the system. I like that. That's kind of my jam, man. Like, kind of like an old school FU, I won't do what you tell me. When they tell us to do one thing, we got to go the other way. And that's really the secret to all great art. When people are like, this is how it's done. This is exactly the way that you have to do it. It always felt like the really good artists were like, no, I'm not going that way. I'm going to go this way. When you zig, I'm going to zag. I had some so-called experts tell me that, if you don't follow these suggestions that you're going to be shadow banned or, you're going to be wasting your time on social media. For creators and artists, there's an enormous pressure to produce and publish quickly that usually only leads to burnout. And that's not just for the little guys that are trying. That's for the big accounts too. And many of the up-and-coming artists or the middle artists I know, they'll tell me that they'll pull down their posts because they only get a few likes or maybe 0 comments and it feels like nobody cares. And on the flip side of that, I've sat with some really popular creators and who've told me that they've pulled down their posts because they didn't get enough reach or engagement within the first hour. One guy actually said, if my post doesn't hit 1,000 likes in an hour, I take it down because it drags the channel down. Or you only have a limited window of time for Instagram to show your work to strangers. And that makes me feel kind of sad for them because I get it. You want your work to be seen or discovered, but at what cost? Does it seem like your only validation for your art is measured in likes and comments? Or you're just chasing some algorithm that changes every blue moon? I think that that's complete BS and that you need to stop that immediately. Real quick before I go on, if you're liking these videos, make sure you hit that like button because it allows YouTube to know who to send these videos to. Or feel free to share my channel with any artist friends that you think could use this kind of stuff. I really want to reach and encourage as many artists as possible, and I need your help to do that. So thank you for sharing and liking the channel. So back to the topic of slowing down in a really fast-moving world. Here's what you might do instead. I know this might not be easy, but you have to shut off all the noise around you and just draw. And draw for you and nobody else. Draw for no other reason but to just draw. Practice the craft, the feeling of the pencil moving on a paper. You don't have to overthink it, really. And you shouldn't feel pressured to have to show everyone everything all the time. Not everything has to be a masterpiece or for the gram. While it's true that everything could be content, it doesn't mean that it should be. And while it seems like I show a lot of stuff, there's actually a lot of stuff that I don't show. And that's not because it's bad or under contract. Sometimes it's just for me. It's like personal, very personal. It's like journaling almost or something like that. You don't want the world to see what you're working out. And that's another great thing that art is good for. Sometimes it's just for me, for my eyes only. The other way I slow down is a good old-fashioned pencil. And I love my BLACKWING, Joe. And while most of my professional art is done on the iPad digitally, I usually make myself carry the pencil and paper around, just part of my everyday carry, just for me to draw anywhere and work out a lot of different small things, but sometimes some nice things as well. What's really become kind of strange is that this simple act of just carrying this with me has kind of made me stand out. As I'm pulling this pencil out and I'm drawing or I'm sharpening my pencil, people notice. I had one guy recently ask me, why don't you use a mechanical pencil instead? Because I have to stop and sharpen my lead all the time, or Or why not just a pen? That's the point for me, is that there's something I like about having to pause to think for a minute, and the act of sharpening, even the feeling of the grind into the cedar. And, sometimes you can even smell the cedar smell, when you're sharpening a good cedar pencil like a BLACKWING. And yeah, that's just the stuff. I love that stuff. Just to take a few seconds and be able to think about what you're about to draw or what you've just drawn, and kind of observe and just get into that zone. For me, it even makes my bad drawings or scribbles feel good. And links to the good BLACKWINGs are down in the description. And when I say draw every day, it's not meant to be a grind. The idea of me telling you to draw every day doesn't mean that I want you to draw a masterpiece or feel that pressure to produce and publish and burn yourself out. Even if you only take that 5 to 10 minutes a day and draw something small, you've done it. And a pencil in motion tends to stay in motion, and a pencil at rest stays at rest. It's like proven science. I've talked to enough people now that tell me that they've done this, and now they are really drawing every day. They're drawing not just the scribbles every day and the doodles. They're actually working on projects and ideas that came to them because they were inspired. This shit works, but it works both ways. So draw to keep drawing, and stop drawing and you're going to stop drawing. This is week 58 of the Draw or Die newsletter for visual storytellers of all kinds. We also have a pretty awesome daily drawing club that you can join. I'll let you find it. I hope you stay encouraged out there. I hope you draw something for yourself today and not feel pressured to have to show it. You can slow down. You can do things for yourself. And, the internet's going to be here. I think that slow and steady really is the better way. Back to the drawing board for me. I'll see you back here real soon.